Hello, everyone. My name is Jared Bailey, and this is my subject matter interview for ENT 650. Today, I'm joined by Mr. Stephen Butler. And I will let him introduce himself. So, Mr. Steve.
Again, I am Stephen Butler. I was born in Seattle, Washington, and raised here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been in the transportation industry for about 30 years come October. I am about character. I am a man of God and a man of truth. So I am about family as well, and trying to better myself as well as reach for the horizon.
Okay. Well, thank you for that the introduction. So, can you describe what your current industry that we are in right now?
Transportation has evolved greatly. I am an old school driver, and the industry is not what it was. It has turned into a corporate monster. But with that being said, if you know the ins and outs and what to look for and what not to do, you can still be a success in this business.
Okay. All right. So what made you? What was the point in your life that made you decide I'm gonna strike out on my own and be an entrepreneur in this industry?
Well, my mother was a school teacher and my dad was a civil servant. He was in the military as well as a government employee. So with that being said, having that military background, it made me strive for the best of what I do. And having that educational background from my mother to actually make me do great work and understand higher learning, no matter what it was in. I actually ran across a owner-operator. He owned his own tractor, and was working in a warehouse. It was hot, sweaty, and I was kind of at that crossroads of I want to do something else. He and I had a conversation. He told me about the industry, and I saw the piece that he had, which made me want to inquire more. And I found out later that my wife was pregnant, so I wanted to raise the child in a way that it was not conducive to the rest of the way other children were raised. I wanted the mom at home and me there whenever I needed to be there and have that family time. So it made me really research things that would actually give me freedom in earning.
Okay. All right. So let's dive into. So as y'all may not notice or can't see, we're actually inside of Mr. Stephen Butler's tractor. All right. So I'll just give you a quick pan of this home away from home. So Stephen and me, you had a conversation before. What is the name of this vessel or your tractor?
My tractor is called Big Red.
Okay. Big Red. Okay. All right. Now you also had mentioned a slogan more or less of a Chrome Dragon. Is that what?
Right. So, I'm getting ready to start a YouTube page to actually inspire other drivers to become owner operators and release the passion to the world of what we do. It's not just drive trucks around, but as you can see, I like to have my truck look really nice. And the name of this YouTube site will be called Dragging Chrome. So it gives a insight to what we do. So when you see the pretty rigs going down the road with the chrome shining and the candy paint, that's what we do.
Okay, I got you. All right, now as an owner operator, and then like I said, this is your tractor, initial cost of getting yourself started and things of that nature. Can you give us a roundabout figure or how you got those funds and stuff like that?
Roundabout figure to become a owner operator, you will need about, let's be safe. In most businesses, you will need about $10,000 to have a good footing for maintenance and insurance and permits and all that. Also, the down payment for the tractor and fuel operating costs. So $10,000 is a good number to start with, but brass tacks, bottom line, you need $7,000 to get into your own tractor.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. Now, with that being said, for someone aspiring and not knowing, how to generate that income or start, to have that set aside, what other venues did you come across or did you tap into in order to make that happen? I
started out, like I said, I'm an old school driver. I look young, thank God for that. But I started back at the beginning of 90s. And started out driving a van around delivering mail for a secondary company to the post office, which led me into working in a diesel mechanic shop for the city, and I had to have a commercial license to move the trucks around. So I just missed the grandfather period, so I had to actually go study for that. But the point being to move into being an owner-operator to get the CDLs, when I finally got my commercial driver's license, I wasn't able to be hired because they wanted experience. And I didn't have, it was kind of hard. It was a catch-22. Either you had the experience from working on a farm or something like that, and you got CDLs and they would hire you, or you just had CDLs and with no trackable experience. Well, I started out with a mom and pop company that transported new and used trucks, and which was really good because it put me into the really well-paying field of transportation. I got owner-operator money without being an owner-operator, and so I didn't have a truck payment and all that extra. So after I got into that point, I worked for a company, saved my money, and started to inquire from different drivers, owner-operators, and companies about becoming an owner-operator. So when I got my information, I decided to make a move. It wasn't pretty at the beginning because people don't tell you everything. And it seems like the more information you acquire, people want to hoard it because they think you're going to make all the money. That's not true. So regardless, I went ahead and got my first tractor, and I have not looked back.
Oh, I got you. Okay, let's get on down. What is now, me and you earlier were discussing how do you go about getting your jobs or your loads, more or less?
Okay. In the transportation field, you have 4 different entities. You have a shipper that has the product, and you have the receiver that needs the product to make whatever they need to make. And in between those two are what's called brokers. Brokers talk to the shippers, find the rate of what the shipper will pay to move the product to the receiver, and then post the loads on a load board, which the carriers, which I am, and the carrier actually goes onto the load board, finds the loads of where they want to go and what it's paying. Then when they pick out that load, call the broker, which you have a chance to negotiate a fair price to get that load and transport it to a place. And then you have a fifth entity, which is in dealing with your getting your pay. That's not important right now, but it will be as you become an owner-operator, or a carrier. And remember, owner-operator and carrier are two different things. Owner-operator means you own the tractor and trailer. If you are a carrier, that means the name on the side of the truck is yours. So if you see Walmart riding down the road and you are ABC Trucking, you are just like Walmart, except for you're not as big, but it's still the same rates that you fight for. You may get less because you're not as big, whereas a conglomerate like Schneider, JB Hunt, or any of those big carriers, they actually are so big that they are their own insurance company, whereas we have to go through insurance companies. So, but that's the initial makeup of it. So generally the owner-operators are leased on to a carrier, which negotiates rates with the broker.
Okay. I see. Now,
A lot of information.
Yeah. Now, looking at your journey and where you are today, and looking towards the future, are you looking to possibly expand to have other drivers associated with your name, your brand, or would you say, I won't say settling or content with being a solo entity right now?
Great question. In business, you have to find out where you want to be. You must answer that question first before you decide that you're going to move on becoming a business owner. In transportation, you have to find your number. My number, and let me explain that number. That number is, how many trucks do you need to take care of home, to take care of savings and investing, to take care of college for kids, all those things. You need to find that ballpark number that you would like to have so far as income. Then there's a number of how many trucks that you need to make that quota. My quota, starting out, for me to be happy, to save money, to travel the world, to make my business a success, my number, true number, is 7, the number of completion. I don't want any more than 7 trucks, but I will accept less than 7 trucks with 3 trucks. 7 is just that I can really do business on a level and put the integrity into and the passion into what I do. But the number 3 is what I need to be satisfied, comfortable, and have sustained growth.
Okay. All right. Definitely. And the reason I picked Mr. Stephen, I am also interested in the transportation industry. Not necessarily over the road 18-wheeler carrier, but similar in dump trucking. All right. So like I said, I appreciate you sharing with me the similarities, the different processes. Also, you showed me some other paperwork, bill ladings, and things of that nature. So this is his mobile office and different and things like that. Like I was saying, with expansion and things of that nature, do you ever see yourself possibly coming off the road completely and having separate drivers solely?
Yes. I am, like I said, my number is 3 to 7. 3 is the minimum, 7 is the maximum. I used to be a trainer as well. So I have a lot of drivers on the road that I've trained from scratch to drive. But I'm a different beast when it comes to training. I actually train the driver to become a business owner.
Okay.
So I teach them the business, not just to drive, but how to manage the business, the ins and outs, the ups and downs. Pardon me. I plan to have at least 5 drivers. I want to partner with a go-getter mechanic that knows diesel, has been around diesels, and I would like to find a young man or young woman that is passionate about what they do. That way I can pour in what I know, and they can pour into me what they know, and we form a partnership. That way we'll have drivers running the trucks. I can stay home. I can negotiate loads for our trucks, as well as later move into the broker field, because it's nothing like doing 100% of your business. And the brokers actually take up a big part of the monies that is made without actually doing the work. Mm-hmm. And I would like to have it full circle. That way, because like I said, I've been doing this 30 years. I've been gone a long time. I've seen the whole country in and out. I've been places that are not even listed on the map. And I've been to all the major cities. I've been to the borders. I've been across the borders. I've seen sites that most people, even 75% of the people, will never ever see. So it's been very beneficial. But because I know about these places and have seen these places, it's time to live. Mm. So I want to expand the whole business. That way anybody that comes in as a driver will learn the business, whether they want to get more trucks or be happy with one truck. Mm. Everybody has their own level of happiness. Mine is to actually expand the minds of those that want to go into the transportation industry, to see that there's more to life than what you actually see. That 1%, not trying to make it there, but I'm trying to make it to wealthy, comfortable, and my family independent. That way we don't have to go work for anybody, but we work for ourselves and establish others to actually take on that same mindset and to actually establish community and kingdom here with businesses that we run.
So, thank you so much, Stephen, for your insight, especially for this interview. I will say, for those of my classmates and things of that nature, reach out to those that are in your industry. I know in my generation, or people that I've known, we're afraid to reach out to those that's in the industry due to fear that it'll be a lashback, a fear of competition or things of that nature. But if you really take a chance and just ask people in your industry, there you'll find people like Mr. Stephen here that are more than willing and passionate about sharing their knowledge and things of that nature. So I always like to try to share that with my classmates. Any chance you get it to speak with someone, they have something to offer to you, take that into consideration as well, and appreciate them. So this will conclude our interview. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Stephen, for joining us today. And as always, if you could give us a little pull to send us out. Okay. Thank y'all so much.